Alright, this man thinks that I know how to navigate this fucking place. Watch this.
It's gonna be the museum.
Okay, does this place got like one of those digital signs that's like, hey, if you go this way, it's that, you know, like when you walk into the mall and like you are here, you know? Oh yeah, you do have a you are here.
Yeah, there is a map in the middle. Are you in the front doors or like what
Admissions.
side are you?
I'm at the admission area. And now I'm in
Yep.
the big.
And then take a right before
Okay.
the.
Oh, I see
Yep.
you. Okay, bye. Ew, I've got the waddle. Gross. Oh, wait, is this? Okay, you guys added stuff since last time I was here, I think.
No, this is
Is it the
designed
same?
by construction.
Well, I mean, was it already? Well, I remember the chairs and stuff. I don't know if I remember the bar and stuff. It was? I don't remember. I think because they were talking about having like weddings and funerals here.
No, this was all over here. It was exactly the
Oh,
same.
it was like this. You're saying you never added anything different. Got you.
Oh, nothing's been touched.
Well, you can tell I never hang out at the court center, you know. That's going to change, of course, you know, with the new stuff. I couldn't make it yesterday, unfortunately.
Everybody that's working on it, I don't know if they're going to be as interested. And I'm not going to discourage them by any means, but I have an idea as to the man hours on a weekly basis required and like coordination required to operate it. It's not like just magically people show up.
You don't think Silas would back this and the people that I've already put in so many hours to get this up and running?
I think he can try to. It's like, I mean, we'll see. You know, we can wish for all the best.
Okay.
I think it'll run fine.
So what are your
It'll be
plans,
fine.
Nino, if you don't win tomorrow?
I am moving into bed at past. I've struck a deal with Bolingbrook. I mean, working on a technology company. I mean, migrating some of my software engineers over in Bolingbrook and working on a new product line, new cell phones, tablets, new e-commerce platforms, all for cheap. You're probably seeing some of it being discussed over at Bolingbrook, the H1 Bolingbrook visas for the lifers that work hard and aspire to be released.
Is that it?
You see, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And I want to put a ding in this universe. All said and done, I'm looking forward to the future. And, you know, but there are some things I wanted to discuss with you.
Okay.
In the event I do win mayorship, I am going to need to bring some accountability to the police department. But before I go into that, I want to understand from your perspective, and you're not the only member of command that I'm going to be speaking with, but I do want your opinion on this. How do I bridge the gap between the department and the people of Los Santos County? Because I do not believe that the police department as a organization knows what accountability is.
Well, I think part of the problem is when something happens, like the situation you mentioned yesterday, right? How are they ever going to know something was done, right? Obviously, we can't tell them, like, hey, this happened to you and somebody was suspended. This happened and somebody was fired. I mean, it shouldn't be happening. That's mistakes happen. The biggest thing is that should have never happened, right?
I stopped the police department from being mag dumped last night, ambushed multiple times over.
What, because of one of these situations?
Mm-hmm. Because I said you need to be bigger than that.
I mean,
however,
I don't know.
The next day, I'm a little disappointed that I cannot even get a like sort of even a semblance. Like last night, I thought I spoke to Stevie, I spoke to Craig, and they seemed like uninterested, right?
Mm.
I spoke to
Yeah, leaking.
others,
Mm-hmm.
the chief and the ass chief. Please keep this between us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get some advice to a
Okay.
degree. And I didn't really, I think what I said landed on deaf ears. All I want, and I feel like this is the hardest, all the ask is communication. Communicate it. Have someone write a statement.
Yeah, like maybe a briefing to the community, like we're aware of things that have happened over the last few days. Um, we want to let you guys know that, we're working on doing better every day. Like maybe something but at the end of the day, right? Some type of communication to let them know, while we can't tell you what the outcome is of what happened, we can let you know that we know and that we're going to do our best to make sure it never happens again. Right?
Yeah. Otherwise, as someone that interfaces with all of these gangs, right, and civilians, that I want at some point someone to be able to put do they shoot people? Yes. Do they kill people? Yes. Do they rob people? Yes. But
Yeah, why do
this
we not have press
force,
conferences,
right, that
newspapers and
is
shit?
inherently against the police department, if they are left thinking
We need
that
a
the
media
PD
outlet to
doesn't
go to
actually
like
care
put
what
out these
happened
things.
yesterday, and that is actually acceptable, then you are going to
It's
get
not.
more violence coming to you, right?
I agree.
Beyond the right and wrong.
Well, I think first, like we just talked about, there needs to be a briefing within 24 hours of the shit happening. And then there needs to be something released in the newspaper specifying the announcement, like, right? Referring back to police came forward today and spoke about this. Just to.
This situation happened with this. We are
Right.
not, this is not how we do things. Internal actions have been taken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't even need to go into specific.
No, I
There's
think
not even
that's
so much of
it's
like
an
a drop
easy.
of like,
No.
let's think about how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it sounds like to me that there's just a lot of fuck these people that aren't cops.
No,
Because that's how it comes across to me.
I don't think people in my side are thinking, how do we communicate this to the city and the people that we're, protecting and serving, right? We're not thinking past, let's not fuck up again and let's make sure the people know how they fucked up and why they shouldn't fuck up again. We're not thinking past that right now. And I'm not saying anybody's to blame for that. That's just, but we are.
That's how you have been traditionally programmed.
Right.
And you're right. I think the paradigm needs to shift. It's very tough for me because I have to play the man in the middle, right? I have to defend the PD when I'm talking to non-PD and vice versa. Not in any way to say who's right and who's wrong, but to play the fucking city therapist.
Right.
Trying to convince mom and dad to fucking talk. Instead, they just want to fucking throw things at each other.
Right. Well, do you think that putting out some type of announcement about, not announcement, but host something, pref conference, right? And then having something put in the local paper, at least they'll know that we're acknowledging something bad happened. And we're aware that people are in an uproar over it. Without even mentioning like the gang involved or the people, specific names, right?
I agree. I think a press conference is good. I think an alternative and even a first step is that somebody in the PD, right? You guys write reports all day. Like, even if you chat GPT'd like a half a page letterheaded thing and you post it on Twitter, right, as a picture and just retweet it all, even that is reasonable because you're accepting responsibility as law enforcement for something that should not have been done. You're explaining what steps are going to be taken, what action was took. And at that point, at least you have at that point a leg to stand on. Now you're putting the ball into the court of the criminal. When you don't do that, you come across as criminals yourselves.
Now, did you explain that to other people today? And you don't like, I'm confused. Is that not?
There's too much defensive energy. And I think that's the inherent nature of how a lot of officers may have been brought up, is that they're to think beyond that there is a right party and a wrong party, but
Right.
rather most parties tend to be wrong.
Right.
But then there's some right in between there. It's just like whether like states are
I think it would
fighting
be really
against
good to
each
have
other, or
somebody for
political
public
parties are fighting
relations
against
and
each
have
other, or
them post the
countries are
shit.
fighting.
I
There's
think that'd
never
be
a
great.
perfect winner and a perfect loser.
We could just
But
get
what
them the
there
memo and
is
boom,
an
put it out. Put it
understanding
out.
of the other side and attempting to communicate.
Well,
But I don't think most understand that concept, at least not in a way that's been conveyed to me that there's been an understanding. You know, in fact, I feel like usually when I bring up these concerns to the police department, I feel like I'm coming across as the quote unquote criminal mayor's here coming to bitch at the cops.
but I don't.
It's sounding like bitching because there's no give. It's only take, or like just the not wanting to do anything.
I don't see why anybody would have a problem with doing what we just talked about. I just don't understand if that's something that's going to inform the community that we're aware of things happening and that we're doing our best to correct the situations, why it's a problem. I think, you know what I feel like? I feel like I think a lot of people are overworked and to the point of they're just, like they're sinking, but they're still treading, but they're starting to get tired, right? But I don't know why, because while I do a lot of things, I think you have to just remember, like, we're human and we can only do so much. And, like, I don't know. I feel like people harbor a lot of feelings that they should be getting over towards certain things. That makes sense. Like, I don't hold on to a lot of the bullshit because we can't control it, but we can turn around and try to make it better, right? To make it, I don't believe in going out and firing everybody for making mistakes. I believe pointing it out, correcting it, making sure it doesn't happen again. That's number one. But I do know that somebody talked to me about the community wants to hear what the PD has to say. The community wants to talk to the PD. They want transparency. We can only give you so much, right? Because then otherwise, we're giving you information we shouldn't be giving you, right? But hosting something once a month or whatever, where the community can ask us questions, command and high command, I feel would benefit the relations between both. I had an officer come up to me today, upset. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I can't even pull up to people and say, hey, what's up, without being told, fuck you, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, really? Because
yes.
So you know what I told him? Why don't you let me ride in your car? Because I'm going to be honest, people don't do that shit to me. I have seen people like that. I had a guy come at me hot today, and I came back at him hot. I said, you want to put a fucking low jack on my car? If you think I'm traveling around your neighborhood, by God, do it, And then next, we're talking about Russia. So, I don't know what it is. If it's just the rapport this officer has with people, or maybe he just happened to catch one or two people in a shit mood. But I don't really see that all the time. I really don't.
I think and what you're pointing at here, what happens when there is a communication breakdown between law enforcement and those that you are inherently and unintentionally suppressing. Because people may know who you are, that goes a long way. But if you have if a officer has an interaction with someone that's had some really bad interactions with cops and no semblance of resolution, they're going to be hot. They're not going to, for whoever.
Yeah. No, I get it. They're not going to shoot the shit and, whatever. But I also tried to let him know, don't let people like that rain on your parade. Oh, I don't let them rain on my parade. Well, it sounds like they rained on your parade because you're back here bitching about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
I know you have a lot of calls, right?
Yeah.
I know that sometimes yeah, you get shot in a traffic stop and you're like, what the fuck, why? Right? That
Yeah.
something simple turns into a shootout, that you're dealing with like gangs killing each other, and now you got to
Mm-hmm.
go play cleanup. So
Thinking.
here's the idea that I came up with, and I want you to be honest with this, with me on this. I'm at the point that I do not believe that the organization of the police department will ever hold itself accountable. I am contemplating having public um
Oh
panels,
God. Oh my God. What?
or public hearings, I should say. If a certain criteria is
What?
met, law enforcement involved in said
What?
situation
Ain't no way.
will be required, regardless of department,
A public panel.
to
We're
have to
dead.
answer questions
Okay. Wait. It's my bad.
in a 1-hour format.
Ooh. Okay.
Because that's where I'm at right now,
Mhm.
Haley. That's where I'm at.
So hold on. Who, the person who made the mistake, or the PD as a whole, is on the panel for an hour?
Let's use like specifics as an example.
Mm-hmm.
The Hades situation yesterday.
I'm not using shit. First, he can use those
The
specifics.
panel
We
would
listening.
consist of both sitting mayors,
Okay.
the head of Sama, and a justice or a judge,
A justice.
and the scene lead,
Oof.
and depending on the situation. So in this case, it would be like the scene lead and like maybe 2 other officers, and they're asked direct lines of questioning as to what transpired.
So you're telling me that you want a public panel?
Y'all are gonna get TikTok.
Because why? Because you think that the people in high command aren't gonna hold the person accountable. I'm not being like, I'm just
Yes.
asking. Really?
Do you want me to go through the list?
But please.
It took y'all 2 months to get rid of Frost.
Okay, it didn't
the point
take
that-
it. Nino, I had no fucking
I'm
control
not
over
blaming
that.
you. I'm blaming you.
I really don't even want to comment on it, but I had no fucking control of that at all. Matter of fact, I don't have control of a lot
We
of
have
things.
a terrorist organization running rampant to the point that the entire city knows what the fuck happened to Barrick, who's involved in all kinds of shit, and nobody knows whether who to avoid, who not to avoid. There's not even a single statement for public, for public safety. Carmine almost got fired because I had mild concerns and nothing came about. Who the fuck told him to come down here and put him on my shooting? Den apparently is still hired. Someone get promoted despite the ass chief and apparently you being spoken to. And I can just keep making this list, Haley. I don't think you're at fault on most of it. At the end of the day, if PD cannot communicate to the public, well, the alternative option is you're made to communicate.
Did you tell Moss and Trig this today?
I did.
What did they say?
It was like blank stares. I tried to be nice with like gloves on,
Yeah.
and they go, "You're talking in riddles." So I told them straight, and I
He
held back.
knows. We don't even
and they
have to
both
tell him
completely
shit.
froze.
He just fucking knows everything. Everybody tells him everything. And then he just tells us and talks about it. It's crazy.
At that point, because if I pull out the Jenga pieces, let me give you a hypothetical. All right. Hypothetically, let's say I win the election and I listen to everybody that's in my ear and replace high command. It is going to be 2 months of stirring where all the people that had problems with high command all of a sudden become their best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the new high command gets fucking attacked nonstop for 2 months. Their job gets affected. Fucking ACRs, impeachments, fucking bullshit, and nothing is resolved. I think that's what would happen.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So instead of me having to issue the accountability as a
That's so
consequence of the
crazy.
last 2 months, I make both departments accountable to the people.
That's wild, Nino. Like, I understand that you want us to hold officers accountable, but that's literally high command's job.
I agree.
And to put it in the hands
No. I think you might be misunderstanding me. I see where you're going with this.
Mhm.
When I say accountable does not mean suspensions and firings. I want to be very clear.
Right, but having this panel is like, I feel like people are gonna pussyfoot and not even want to run scenes because they might be put on a panel and questioned for an hour, which maybe that's not. I don't know.
No. Oh no, they're scared. I don't want to do the scene. What if I got like my itchy finger and I shoot everybody? Yeah, then good. Why the fuck are you? What do you mean?
So okay, so
I want to give you. I want to play this out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When I think my definition
I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear
accountability
like, how that goes through.
Absolutely. I'm hoping my 95 to BCI. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go get all the money for my cop part. Oh, you shot someone unintentionally, or you over escalated?
Fucking
bring it to court, pussy. Oh my God! Why is that same crew that we just fucked up? Why are they mag dumping us all of a sudden?
Right? Why is it Hell Week?
Oh my God! Why is it Hell Week? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, they're always crying. These criminals, like, why are they like asking for answers? Why do we have to give any? You know what I mean? Okay, so panel is like this, right? The panel in and of itself is accountability at the same level as like a congressional hearing, right? And I don't know if you ever watched a congressional hearing before. I think most people don't. You know, C-SPAN is boring. You are asked a series of questions and you have to give honest answers. And by those answers, inform the public as to what transpired in a situation that they are.
We've seen a congressional hearing before, guys. Don't worry.
So, like, it would be like, you know, I might sit there, you know, it's my turn. Hey, who issued the decision to open fire? Why was the decision made to open fire? Was the suspects or was the hostages' life in jeopardy? Was it in jeopardy after you took the hostage? Why do you think it was in jeopardy? Why did you choose to open fire on the individuals after they handed you the suspect and decided to drive off? And you, as law enforcement, if you truly believe that your actions were right, can stand there and be honest. And if you cannot, then you already know that you're in the wrong, and as with the public. And that in and of itself is all the accountability that's needed today.
Right, but
having to face the public and tell them what happened, because that's going to bruise. That's going to do the most right, which is bruise an ego if that ego is there.
So I don't think there's an issue with that. Okay. I think people should have to answer to things like that. But what's going to happen going forward? The marshals are there. Listen, so like what I'm saying is, what's going to happen past that, right? Oh, based on your answers
something
to
illegal
this,
came out.
Well, not illegal, but you know, listen, you know, they tried to ACR me for being incompetent. Maxwell this, Maxwell that. You know what I mean? Like, they just fucking make up shit, throw it on a fucking report, and next thing you know, they're trying to impeach your ass. You know? I don't know.
Okay, let's parlay here. I think you are making a good point.
Corp CTMD, bro.
Your honesty may be abused against you, right?
Right.
And that's something that may be small turns into something bigger.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
he's gonna piss off whoever the chief is with that.
If
but
the marshals
I don't think
are
it's
operating
terrible.
within Los Santos County, they would also be subject to this. It doesn't matter what department. It would be for all law
So
enforcement.
it's
And we
for,
have that
okay,
authority.
Blaine and got it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
If you're operating in Los Santos County, you
He's
must
dead ass
answer
about this
to the
too.
public. This is like, you know, I don't think this is unreasonable. I can recognize it's scary.
Yeah,
However,
I don't think it's unreasonable. No. Mm-mm.
now, first and foremost, I don't think that something along these lines would be issued unless it met a certain bar of criterion. So I
Wonder if he
don't think
thinks
there
the
would,
Haiti
like,
situation
for
was.
every Fleeca bank, for every fucking gang shooting, that there should be a hearing. That it should only be in cases of what might be egregious wrongdoing. I think the volume of these should be
Shooting
probably
somebody
at
for throwing
most
a snowball. Yeah.
like twice a month. Now, the alternative is that the departments have a choice. You issue a statement within a time frame, or it gets subject to a hearing.
This person being held accountable or the PD?
If a statement is being issued, it'd be on behalf of law enforcement.
Okay. I think that's gonna. I mean, it doesn't
Piss people off?
matter.
Yeah, sure
It's
it
gonna.
is.
I think it's gonna piss off your high command. I think
Don't
they're
give
gonna.
a fuck.
They don't feel that you. Yeah.
Where's my training?
No. Yeah.
Why are you not? Is there no communication? What do they expect me to do when the public is demanding answers? Because I could tell the public what high command is telling me, which is they don't give a fuck, stop crying, and then see what happens.
That's
I mean, I can do that.
crazy.
I don't think high command recognizes how much they've been protected by me.
I don't think.
If I'm going to be honest.
Who's telling you they don't give a fuck, Nino? I just.
Well, no.
You
but
just feel that way.
You're. I'm being a little
Mm-hmm.
exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to provide answers to the public, right? And if I cannot, I can only tell them what I interpret.
You trying to make it spicy as hell, aren't you?
I'm getting fed up of cops doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
Spending weeks to bring accountability.
He's trying to make some
and
spice,
then
y'all.
crying anytime they're held accountable. And then thinking it's only the criminals that cry. Here's some news.
Why
criminals cry, cops cry.
Why not make this something that with as far as not the panel, but putting out, letters to the community after when I wake up and get on duty and shit is hitting the fan and the community's pissed off, I feel like that's enough cause to put out an announcement, put out a,
yes,
you know what I mean? So why not make that part of our SOPs or part of requirement of the PD that we are required to respond to situations that have caused an uproar within the community, whether it's a complaint directly to the PD or to DOJ or to command. And it's obvious it's a huge issue. You know about it. I was approached by several officers this morning in reference to it as well. I mean, I didn't even leave the PD for almost an hour and a half this morning when I got on duty because of all the bullshit that people had to fill me in on. So, is that I feel we have to do damage control. And we're not doing any damage control, right? So reaching out to the community and letting them know, hey, command's aware. We are working on this. And if you have any suggestions, reach out to us and maybe even have a name that they need to reach out to for that specific situation so that they can give more insight into what happened. Because sometimes we're only seeing, right now, we only have our officer side of what happened, which, they're officers. We should believe everything that they're saying, right? But it sounds like you've gotten stuff.
You shouldn't.
Well, I
know
we
that
should
Ray
be able to
Romanoff
trust
lied through his teeth, but about some things. I'm sure he lied about some things, right? But I equally know that officers lie through their teeth.
Right. No, I'm sure that some do. I know that. I know that. I'm not dumb. I know people lie and are going to twist it to make it look like they were in the right when I know if I was on that scene, that would not have happened because I would have not have made the call to do that personally. I wasn't there though, so maybe Romanov said something that I didn't hear, that nobody's told me that caused this to happen. You know, again, I'm not trying to get into specifics. Obviously, you know some things and I know some things, and there could be stuff missing in the middle. But either way, it's a big enough concern to the community. You're saying that they're wanting to mag dump us over it.
Y'all were going to be ambushed yesterday night.
So to me, that's something we absolutely need to be letting the community know, that we are aware of the situation that happened, maybe naming the street or the location of the robbery or whatever it is, and saying the community is aware of a situation that took place at this day and time yesterday, and want to let you know that we are working, you know, to...
May I ask, like, if they already went to jail and shit, why do you have to be, why is there a feeling that the police department needs to be like coy about what occurred? Why not just be like, yesterday evening, 4 members of Hydra were robbing
I feel like
a bank,
news source could do. I feel like we need to have somebody that could do that, right? Like you said, why? Like, it's in the newspaper, somebody went to jail, right? But it doesn't say what they went to jail for.
Yeah, but why
I don't
not?
know.
Like,
You're right.
Why can't that be in the statement? Because it's not an active investigation. There's nothing.
If it's a case, right? If it is a case closed situation, I don't know. Maybe because they could use it to their advantage if they try to sue civilly. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I don't know.
Maybe, and I think that's kind of like the philosophical difference here, right? Is yes, they could bring that and put it into evidence.
Who's gonna sit up here and
use it against you civilly? With all due respect, you guys don't. I'm paying the bills. The people pay the bills, but you guys barely pay your bills, right? So why y'all aren't worried about money, right? They could charge cops, but you guys are cops. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Why be afraid for the truth to be out there? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, again, I have no problem with that.
Haven't made a decision yet. I'm sharing this with you because I need someone in PD to bounce the idea back and forth with, because I recognize that this is like not a simple like solution.
Right. I mean, I like the idea. I really think we need somebody designated to put out these, you know, announcements, right? Even the scene lead, maybe even making it a requirement of scene lead. If shit like this happens, a major thing, we had to breach this, that, they all got booked and sent up, and it's, you know, I don't know. Why not make it more of a regular thing, so it's not just when shit hits the fan? So then people are aware what's going on. I'm going to be honest. People don't want to do extra work, Nino. People don't want to do more than what they already wake up and do.
People don't want to be cops. Instead, they want to go fast. They want to shoot criminals. And then skip everything else.
No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But here's the thing. I'm the taker of pogs. And they will learn that this term.
So what are you going to do about the issue with, you're upset about the Frost situation? What are you going to,
I don't want to hyper focus on that. That's like a data point, right?
No. But
like a couple data points.
What I'm saying, okay, so say it's Peters. Peters did something. Peters should have been removed. Peters wasn't removed. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Well, I'm the mayor, like nothing I can do.
Well, no, I'm saying directly, like
I'll explain my issue with the Frost situation, so it's better understood.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to hyper focus on him, because it's a fucked up situation too. I'm not really thrilled about either. So
I want to start by saying, like, there's a number of issues that I think have gone unaddressed for a span of 2 months, right? And as the mayor, my primary expectation is that you guys are always growing in a positive direction. And I don't mean in terms of numbers, but I think also in terms of enforcing the law, protecting and serving, communicating with the public,
But whose fault was
right?
that? Peter's wasn't here, but why is that his fault?
And so when I point out the Frost thing, how I see that is, there was an issue there. And when I say you, I mean the police
No,
department, right?
I'm.
There should have been
I
a
know what he means.
decision, a discussion. It should have been like figured out weeks ago.
It sure
right?
as fuck should have.
And when a determination was made, right? Action should have been swift. And
True,
if
Amy.
it wasn't swift, and I don't like this excuse of like, well, he wasn't there and da 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 da, and we couldn't find him, and I get like, oh, fucking bullshit excuse. You know what I mean? No, you fucking tell, like, when I got ready to tell you, hey, get the fuck back, you got to get in here. We're going to talk about this. Otherwise, I'm getting rid of you.
I don't even.
Right? Because what happens is, while the focus becomes on how are people going to feel if we get rid of Frost, and can we find an excuse to keep him and not do anything?
Just aggravating.
Number one, the poor guy has an axe over his head, just like Den Shiesty did 6 months ago, right? To the point where I feel bad for the guy now.
I do too.
Now, number two, what ends up happening is that
I
everybody
don't even know
else
if Nino
in your
knows he was
department,
demoted
and I don't
and then
have to
fired,
be in the
but
police
we're not-
department to know this, because this is an organizational thing that's applicable in every organization around the world, is that if someone knows someone did something wrong, right, that number one, that guy's going to not only be a black sheep, right, but they're going to be like, wait, nothing happened to that guy. I'm going to do it too. And now all of a sudden you've metastasized a problem throughout your entire department for fucking weeks. That was one of the core principles that I wanted established 6 months back.
The whole point of what thing,
cannot be another
Flotty?
Den Shiesty situation. Swift and quick. Nobody deserves that. People don't go to fucking go in for the nines.
I feel like
on
Max was
murder
left out of a lot of his stuff,
long.
to be honest, as lieutenant.
Fucking axe. You let them fucking lick
there's
their
a
wounds and you
reason.
let them come back. But like I said, this is a data point, right?
No, I know. I was demotivated after investigating things. I wasn't being supported at all in that entire situation. So I feel like a lot of people would have probably left over it. And I'm going to leave that at that. So
I saw what you were going through, and that pissed me off. And unfortunately, I'm sure for a lot of people, right, that there may be a belief that I give you preferential treatment for whatever those reasons may be. The reason why I like to communicate with you is, number one, you run this shift alongside Vivian. It's obvious to everybody in the state of San Andreas. You're there when things are tough. It's obvious you're the one training. We barely, even in the last month, I barely have time to get in a car with you, but it's fucking evident.
Yeah.
And when it's also clear
This
that
is
your
signature
opinion
Maxwell fit.
is not present, I see that as a organizational failure. It'd be like me looking at, Michael, right? Let's say if we're talking about my cabinet, right? If Michael or Razzle, right? Someone goes like, who is this random fuck, right? Why isn't he just one of your paper boys, right? And being oblivious to the fact that he's written about 70% of the legislation in the county.
Yep.
No, sorry, in the state. 70% of
Maxwell.
legislation is reviewed by Michael Razzell. He's got more legislative knowledge than the entirety of the DOJ. Why? Because he wrote it.
I think Viv and Maxwell and High Command would be a good idea, personally, guys.
And in the same vein,
I think they're good at bouncing things with each other, even though they've had, I really think they'd be good in High Command. Not
I
at
saw
whatever position.
what
Doesn't
happens
matter.
when you
Who
and
cares?
Vivian are not around versus when you are.
I just think that Viv,
I've heard a lot about this
they can
shit,
balance
and I get it.
pretty well.
What's going on over there? This is obvious to people that are active, for lack of a better word.
And
Like I said,
I agree.
I'm hunting.
Yeah.
I'm hunting for solutions. The
Um,
issue is that these problems, I don't think are necessarily these problems that may be felt by many are not being taken in as legitimate concerns. At least that's the what I've been feeling lately. I'm trying to find alternative avenues. I don't want to see these panels become like happening all the time. I'm talking egregious
right.
situations, right? Like I think the thing that happened with Hades, I think fits well with it. What
Yeah.
happened to Ming? No, I don't think the Ming situation
Hmm.
is serious enough. I think like a
I know
hearing is
they're
needed
the same
if
shift. I
the
know, but
actions that
Maxwell works in a
occurred
shift too.
have the potential
She's
of being
really more of a
repeated
shift
and
zero.
affecting other folks.
Like it's 8:41.
If
We're
there
already
was,
two and
let's
a
say,
half
a
hours in a
shooting
shift two again. Like every
within,
day we're in a
like let's
shift
say there
two
was an
almost lately.
escalation by law enforcement or believed to be an escalation of law enforcement within senior buns
We're really
where
1 into
potential
2.
civilians get a got
Everything
shot,
but 3.
that's
Yeah,
an example of where a hearing needs to take place. A
that's too
hearing,
early for
it
me,
should be
guys.
when public
Late and early.
safety is at risk.
Well, there's definitely should be high command still in 3. I think.
I think the bar for it needs to be really high.
I agree. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I feel like I'm like I feel like high command might be offended. Not I know you don't give a shit. I'm just saying that's the only thing.
That doesn't they have no I have no sympathy
Yeah.
for
No, I
that's
get
their
it. I'm
job.
just saying looking at like from the outside, they're going to feel that the mayor it doesn't think that they're doing their job properly and so that he's taking it into his hands by holding the people accountable, which again you're putting it's not necessarily holding them accountable, but it is because they have to explain themselves to the community, right? Which are they even doing that to us?
I think every member of the community has to actually explain themselves anytime they do something, right?
You need to
They
choose a
get
leader
charged
for
with a
shift
crime.
3.
They get their name plastered in the newspaper. They get brought to court for murder. They have to explain themselves, right? The public, everyone that's not law enforcement, is always having to explain themselves to everybody,
I mean,
and
it
always
doesn't
having to
matter. It
explain
doesn't really
themselves to law
matter who's
enforcement.
leader in shift 3.
Why were you speeding? Why are you
I mean,
running?
it does, but it doesn't.
Why are you wearing
so
a mask?
whoever, you know what I mean?
Are you chain
Drink
gang?
water, you dehydrated bitch.
I wouldn't care if
Why
it
are
was
you
Sky,
controlling
Maple,
Moss?
whoever.
Why are you a
You know what I
puppet?
mean? Wouldn't matter to me.
PD's the only one that is I think one of the only segments of San Andreas that is never questioned,
Yeah.
at least not in a public setting. But I want to say once again, Maxwell, I want you to think on what I said, right? And if you have a better idea or better solution, I do want to
Yeah.
hear it. And that's why I'm speaking with you, because I think you're reasonable to at least understand the other side of things. And I do want a solution that is the best for all parties. Not everyone's going to love it, right?
Right.
But I'm trying to find a middle ground
Okay.
before taking action.
Yeah, I need to think on it because I don't think what you're, you know, does it need to be a public panel? Not necessarily. It could still be some type of panel, but private. Again, not. I don't know.
Hearing.
Yeah, let me think about it.
Let's not say panel.
Okay.
Because panel gives me nightmares.
Yeah. The roof panels. I get it.
It should be a hearing.
Denzel might wake up from his sleep if he hears it. Panels.
And I do think that these hearings could be something that are handled by a member of command, if so desired. Because at minimum, it would require that command member to get
I'm
all
literally
the information.
putting notes on this
because they don't want to look a fool.
Justice or judge, mayors.
Let me ask you something, Maxwell. Like, imagine you weren't a cop anymore, and your best friend was shot by law enforcement because they were fucking around or whatever.
Aphrodite. Oh, she's so cute. I love her.
A shooting took place at Senior Bun. Wouldn't you want to demand to know what the fuck happened?
Yeah. I'd probably start by FOIAing the report. 1000%. That's what I would start by doing. But I feel like some people can't even think to do that step. again, we're talking both sides. But I definitely would want to look at the statements of the officers or witnesses that put a report in and to see what actually went down.
100%. Cool. Yeah, please do think on it. I'm not gonna shoot from the hip, and
Okay.
please don't tell anybody. I don't want to
okay.
cause a fucking scare.
Nino, I'm gonna be honest. I don't talk to people about a lot of things for a lot of reasons. Mostly because people don't know how to shut the fuck up. I think some people just blab just to have something to blab about. I've learned that over the years. So trust me, I am not saying a fucking word to anybody. About any of that. Yeah. But I will think about it. I do think that we should go forward with the whole communication stuff, and I may even mention that now. Why do we have to wait for who the mayor is to communicate with the public as far as putting announcements out or having a press conference about major things that happen the night prior if they don't do it the same night?
I think it's worth a try, you know? Like, I think there's just so much fear that no one's going to give a shit.
What the fuck is that gif?
I think
is that Maxwell running
we've
away?
proven that people do give a shit. It's what stopped Hell Week a long time ago. Even though BCSO tried to stop it.
We'll get through tomorrow. Hopefully you get some sleep tonight, Nino. I'm sure tomorrow will be great for you. Why does the mayor have to own the mall? I don't understand that.
I am not operating the court center unless I'm mayor. The amount of red tape. The red tape. I will put it this way. The amount of man hours that myself and 4 other people got to put into.
Anonymous, thanks for the 100
cooking,
bits.
that extra layer of red tape would be it'd be too much work.
Okay, I get it.
I
just hate to see all this fall through, but I also like, you know, if the people want Silas, then that's who they're gonna get. If the people want Nino, then that's what they're gonna get, right? Like, I'm cool with rolling with whatever happens, but at the same time, I hate to see like all that work go to waste, you know?
You know, everything when we run this place, it's all like smiles and everything. But trust me, we get cooked working this.
I know.
It would be one crash out away where we need like a legislative change to sell something or try something new, and you know, you wait 2 weeks, I'd fucking crash out.
Okay. All right, Nino. Well, you know, I'm sure I'll see you around either way.
I gotta. All right, Maxwell. I appreciate you.
You as well. Have a good one.